Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Time Out with Derek and Joe. For Joe Azalina, I am Derek and O. Thank you for taking time out of your day to spend some time with us. And Joe, our final NFL episode for a couple months at least, I would say.
Yes, Derek, it absolutely is. And I have to tell you that I won't spoil anything if anybody didn't watch the Super Bowl, but we're going to do a recap of that. And that's going to be one main thing. We're also going to delve into our picks from beginning of the year and talk about the standings as they came out and a couple things in there. Throw in some quarterback stuff because there's some controversies as we got going forward here. And it's going to be an all football show because, Derek, we're probably not doing this until April for the draft. And it's all about the lumber pretty soon. The trucks are getting to move down there. So, that makes me smile. I love baseball. I can't wait for all the snow to go away too, by the way. But anyway, I'm going to kick it back to you and let's get started on what I think could have been a terribly lackluster game last night.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with Super Bowl 55 was last night. As Joe said, it was a little underwhelming, I guess, for most people. I did say to Joe, if there are probably 9 out of 10 times this game is going to be close, we happen to get the one time that it wasn't close. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs in Tampa Bay at Raymond James Stadium in front of, I believe it was around 22,000 people, something like that.
A lot of healthcare workers.
Yes.
Just to throw that
and
out there.
Unfortunately, it was not much of a game. 31-9, Tampa Bay came away with the win. Joe, before we dive into any specifics, what was just your overall reaction with what happened in the game?
Listen, I guess I'm more frustrated because all these last couple of weeks I've been saying, oh, what a great game it's going to be, and might be one of the best games, right, of all time, and it definitely didn't live up to that. But sometimes I guess we're let down by what we think something can be, and then we're disappointed because it wasn't there, it didn't measure up. I think I texted you about halftime or a little after that and said the Chiefs better get going because Tampa Bay looks like they're like a Ferrari, like. They're just, I don't know. I just listen, you can't say Tom Brady was great, but you can say he was good enough. He made the right reads. I thought he threw the ball really well. Finally, Gronk showed up. I mean, he had nice catches and a couple touchdowns. Can I was so mind boggled by this though. He had that catch down near the end zone. Where was the defense? Were they that confused? Like, he runs that little out to the end zone, and he just walked into the end zone. Like, I mean, I don't know. There's so many things that, we can talk about. And I'm actually more excited to talk about our recap of the standings. But the one thing I have to say is that Tampa Bay deserved to win because their defense and that linebacker, I don't have notes. I'll be transparent with you and the audience. I never write any notes down. I was so frustrated in the third quarter. Devin White's his name. He had a great game last night. And for my money, I would have put my leg out there and said, you know what? You usually don't see it. What about him being a defensive MVP last night? Like, he was great. And credit to the Bucs defensive secondary because they shut down Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, who we heard about for nauseum the whole year.
Yeah.
And they shut him down, Derek.
And we kind of talked about it. It seemed like it may have been a lot of coverage sacks, and pressures. They only got 3 sacks, but Mahomes was running for his life the whole game. And I threw out the stat that ESPN Stats and Info threw out. Patrick Mahomes ran for a total of 497 yards before his passes and sacks tonight. So that was before he threw the ball or got sacked. That's the most this year. So he was running for his life the whole game. You kind of saw it that the offensive line was in shambles for Kansas City. Um, they didn't really. I mean, they ran the ball well when they did it, but they didn't run the ball enough. 17 total carries compared to 49 passes. I understand they were down most of the game, but um, running seemed to work, which is interesting because I believe the Buccaneers finished the regular season with the top rush defense.
They did.
So maybe that kind of tells me they kind of went all out to stop the pass and to blitz the quarterback, and that worked. So um, I think the quarterback protection was just not there for the Chiefs, and penalties. They had a ton more penalties than the Buccaneers did. Let me just look them up real quick. 11 for 120 yards the
80 in
Chiefs
the first
had.
half.
So were
That
some of
was
them questionable? Okay, yeah, maybe a little, but
not
and
enough.
then we talked about the turnovers, and there were two turnovers the whole game. Both happened to be interceptions for Patrick Mahomes, and um, they just never really got going, Joe. Kelsey did have his 10 catches for 133 yards, but
Most of that late, right?
Hill,
He didn't do anything the first half.
yeah, that was
A lot
for
late.
both him and Hill were pretty late. I see that Hill had 73 yards, but I'm pretty sure he didn't have much of anything for the longest time. Um, Tampa Bay was just better in every single facet, and that's why they won 31-9. There's not really anything else to dive into. They that's why they won. And um
Fournette and Jones are really good too.
yes.
Let's give them. Mike Evans didn't do bad, but I think Fournette and Jones and Gronk are the three guys you got to look at in the offense and say they're going to build upon that. You know, maybe they bring in another receiver. They bring in a defensive player. I mean, they don't have a lot to tinker with, but they could tweak here and there. I was impressed with the way Fournette ran downhill. That guy is a
Yes.
beast. Like
He
he's
was
a
very good.
beast. Yeah. So kind of reminded me a little bit of Marshawn Lynch, right? A little bit. Like he's a bigger back. He kind of reminds me of him a little bit. But hey, Tom Brady, Derek, seventh championship. I've been saying it for a long time. You might not like him in his antics at times, but I listened to him
Yeah.
closely last night again. He gave a lot of credit to his teammates. He's a little bit too much when it comes to stuff he might do, or he complains a lot about calls. But I don't know. I think he's a little more humble than people give him credit for. I think he's a little more. But as a player, we're not going to see anybody like him. And I love what Phil Simms said before the game. He said Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. That's what it was, really. And Michael Jordan we saw it.
Yeah.
Seven titles. So, and it didn't have to do with New England either. He came and put together a team. Let's be honest. His team wasn't put together until
Yeah.
Tom Brady came. So,
Well, and I will say real quick the running game was great. We did talk about that in the preview, how if they got the running game going, and they did run for 145 yards between Fournette and Ronald Jones was very good as well. Nice. He was a little bit more of the quicker back. Nice 1-2 that they had going. I would have to look through their season, but I really don't think there was a game where both of them really got going. It was usually one was injured, so the other one was the guy. So this may
Fournette
have been
even
one of
start. Sorry, did Fournette even start
not
there?
for
No.
most of the season. No, that he he
Yeah.
got let go of Jacksonville, and
Right.
he didn't really play too much
No, it was
to start.
Jones's ship, if you will. I mean, because of the
Yeah,
blanks. See what I did there? But I mean, Fournette, he's just a big bruising back. Like that's what he is, and it's like the Eagles. They used to have Charlie Garner back in the day, and then they had Ricky Waters. Well, Waters was lightning, and Gardner was thunder. So
yeah,
Fournette's thunder, and Jones is lightning. I guess I could see that, and they make it hard on the defense, though. You're thinking you got a finesse guy that's
yeah,
going to outrun you, and you got Fournette coming in there pounding you. So, credit to Arians too. I was happy for him. I
yeah.
really was. It was cool to see him happy. Shout out to his mom was nice. I think he's from Pennsylvania. I think I heard.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm
Yeah,
wrong. But anyway, Tampa Bay champs, and one more win for Tampa Bay. As we said on the one episode with my brother Mike, there we talked about the whole Tampa Bay thing. You got the Bucks, the Lightning, and the Rays got to the World Series. Like something's
Yeah.
in the water in Florida, Derek.
Yeah. So as far as the Buccaneers, we kind of talked about they're moving forward with Tom Brady. That's their future. They
One
don't
more
have
year.
another quarterback on the roster. They're pretty much
No.
saying we're here to win now,
Yeah.
and we're going with Tom Brady as long as he wants to stay here.
They
You said
draft a
it.
quarterback?
That
Did they draft one
I
coming up
doubt
in
it. I
April?
very much
No.
doubt it.
Maybe next year.
Because I think it's a very similar situation. Well, it's not, but it's what someone like Aaron Rodgers wants. He wants the Packers to invest in him, but
Oh,
when they
yes.
drafted a quarterback, they said, "We're going to move on soon."
Yeah.
Buccaneers said, "We're going with you. As long
Yeah.
as you want to stay here, we're going with you. We're going to
Yeah.
go out. They got a running back with Fournette. They brought in Antonio Brown. They brought Gronkowski in here. I don't know
Yeah.
how
He
long
wasn't
Todd Bowles has been there, but Todd Bowles did a great job as defensive coordinator. What do they need to do? I mean, I know Godwin. I think Godwin's a free agent, so if they want to bring Godwin back, but they have great skill guys. Can always use more offensive linemen.
yeah.
Um,
Probably drafted
shore
one
up
of
the
those.
defense. I
Yeah.
think they're in very good shape moving forward. And as you said, number 7 for Tom Brady. Who the heck knows when he leaves now? If he won there, I don't see him retiring in the next few years until you see a steep drop off. And I have no
You're not
idea when
seeing it.
that's happening.
Chiefs will be back too. Chiefs,
Yes.
Kansas City will be back. They're so good. I look for them to be a thorn in a lot of teams' sides next year.
I will just ask real quick before we move on to the next segment. So they had all the stats up. Mahomes has never lost a game by double digits, and
Heard that a few
uh,
times.
with Mahomes, they've never had 0 touchdowns through the entire game. Let alone, well, actually, 3/4 is what they had, but it moved on to the entire game because they didn't score a touchdown. Um, do we think that this stays with him until they win another Super Bowl? Like, because, and whether it was all Patrick Mahomes' fault, it definitely wasn't, but it was a combination of a lot of things. But it sticks with the quarterback. People say, well, Tom Brady didn't necessarily win 7 championships. He had a lot of help around him to help him win it. It's not like Patrick
I
Mahomes
agree.
lost this, but people are going to
Right.
say Mahomes got killed in the Super Bowl. Do we think that lingers around until he wins again? Is that a fair statement?
All right. So, I mean, they come out and lose 5 games next year. Maybe you start to hear that a little bit. If they come out and start with like a 10-0 season again,
Yeah.
I mean, 8-0, right? Like it's kind of unfair, I think. I know why you're asking the question. It's a great question. I just want to know, and my friend Kyle, as you heard him say on our show the other night or a couple nights ago, he made a good point. They had no linemen that were experienced. They lost 4 guys. That's tough to do. So I just wonder if Mahomes gets more protected. He's not running for his life. He's not running east to west. He's making plays down the field. He didn't have a sure complementary of guys last night. And I think that hurt them. But I don't want to take away from Tampa Bay. So let's just say, to answer your question in a roundabout way, no, it's not going to linger because the Chiefs have way too much talent.
Yeah, and I would tend to agree. I really don't think that they talked about how the lineman who just was it Peters,
Yeah,
I want
Eric
to
Peters.
say
Right.
Peters.
Yeah. Yep.
When he left, that moved like 3 different guys. One tackle moved over here, and then the right guard moved here, and so that
It's not like
3
basketball.
different guys.
Enter a shooting guard in a point guard or a small forward. And
Yeah.
you can't do it. I mean, football's, and those guys are skilled. Like that's tough to do.
Mm-hmm.
You watch college ball, which we both do, and you miss one lineman, it's tough. You're missing 4 offensive linemen. That is a story that needs to come out more and more because Mahomes didn't have his guys there last night.
Yeah. I mean, even, you you're dropping back on this side for hundreds of times during in the beginning of the preseason and everything, and now all of a sudden you're dropping back this way. So
Yep, leaning
I
different
don't know.
ways. It's
I don't have
crazy.
any experience with it, but I can't imagine it wasn't easy. So I agree. I I really think that they'll be back. I believe they are the favorites next year to win the Super Bowl already. If anyone wants to put in their bets,
Your
I believe
Packers
they're.
had odds too. Your Packers were favorites.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't be able to bring it up, but um,
Too much,
yeah,
Derek. Too
yeah,
much.
they were pretty high as well. I think it
Yeah.
was the Packers were second, Buccaneers were actually fourth. Um, but I know the Rams are up there with. Well, we may talk about it
Oh,
later with
well,
Matthew
yeah. Yeah.
Stafford coming on, but
Well, yeah. I
um,
mean, there's teams definitely that, and especially if Green Bay grabs like we said more
a
weapons. If they
receiver,
grab a Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, someone that can extend the field,
yeah,
something like that, or maybe they maybe they go for it in the draft and bring a guy in or trade up and get a big time receiver. I wouldn't put it past them to give Rodgers more help. He needs more help. He knows it.
mhm.
Um, you can only throw the ball to Devontae Adams how many times a game? You have to go to other guys. Like it's just what football's about. So, but yeah, no, the odds, yeah, they're coming out, and we did say that after this show, football is going to be kind of on the back burner until April, but we're still going to get back to it because it's still one of the best sports in the country, and
Yes,
we know it, So, and our viewers,
yep,
we hope you like it on the timeout with Derek and Joe.
yeah. So, and there it goes. The first season that Timeout went from the beginning to the end, episode 4 all the way to, I don't know, this is 23, 20, I think 24 actually. 20
We're getting up
episodes
to 30,
later.
Derek. We're getting up
Yeah,
to
almost
30.
there. So Super Bowl 55, not as close as we wanted, but congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning 31-9 over the Kansas City Chiefs. So for our next segment here, we're as Joe mentioned, we're going to kind of go back in time and just to see how it is we did in comparison to the predictions. I should say our team record predictions in comparison to how they ended up, as well as our playoffs. So we're going to kind of go through each of the teams here and just say a couple notes about why we might have been so off or how we hit spot on or moving forward what things are looking like for that team. So to start off here, this is the same exact presentation if anyone noticed, so that's why it might seem like something you've seen before. Let's move us down a little bit. So we can start, Joe, with the Buffalo Bills. Why not? I had an 8-8 prediction, and you had a 10-6. And where did they end up as?
First of all, Derek, this is your least favorite team in football. And 8-8, you were really hoping, but no, they ended up at 13-3. So they were better than we both predicted.
So what I'll say is I truly didn't think that, and I don't know if anyone technically saw it, but I didn't think that Josh Allen was going to make the amazing jump that he ended up making in his sophomore year. He was great this year.
For real. He's for
Um,
real.
and I believe I said how Stephon Diggs, I wasn't too sure about that because um, he's more of a possession receiver and Allen was
Best receiver in
really a deep
football.
thrower, but he was great. He was
Yeah.
amazing, and that's why
Yeah.
you see the 13-3 as opposed to the 10-6 or even the 8-8 that I have.
Their defense is
Uh,
overrated too. I just want to throw that out there. Their
yeah.
defense, they hit well, they hit hard. I don't know. They're just one of those old school teams, I feel like.
Now the Dolphins, Joe, we were kind of off completely on that. I had 4-2, you had 13-3, but they finished 10-6. So obviously there was something we were missing there, and I guess you could say that was the great defense and a Fitzpatrick and Tua combination.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, 10-6. We both had them way under 500, and I think that and their defense played well too. I think the Dolphins and Bills kind of did the same thing. They played really good D. They turned you over at times, but Fitzpatrick and Tua really did a good job. Kind of what they're good at. Tua is better at throwing the short pass, and Fitzpatrick will go down the field a little more. Devontae Parker had a big year for Miami too. He was good when healthy, and I look for Miami to get a receiver in the draft and do some good things.
Now, if we go back just 2 episodes or 1 episode to Leonard, he did say he wanted him to go all out, go all in for Deshaun Watson and trade away Tua, trade away picks.
Flores likes Tua.
So I guess we'll see. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air where Watson's going yet, but the Patriots, I guess, a little more positive we were thinking than what they ended up. 10-6 for me, 9-7. Joe, they finished at 7-9. So I guess we could say that Cam Newton really didn't turn out to be what we thought he was going to be, but they also didn't really have a lot of weapons there to help him out, I don't think.
On Newton, I don't want to sound harsh, but I'm going to just be blunt about it. He's not a leader. I don't see him being a leader. Like Aaron Rodgers is a leader. Drew Brees is a leader. We know Tom Brady. They're leaders. Those guys are all good quarterbacks and great and leaders. Cam Newton's not. He needs somebody to help him with that. They were 2-6 though, Derek, on the road. That's a big thing. They could have won a couple games on the road, and that record turns it around a little bit. But not much to say. Belichick's gonna have growing pains. They need a quarterback, so it'll be interesting to see what they do if they trade up in the draft or they maybe get a free agent. I don't think they'll be one of these trades. I'll be surprised. But I didn't see Newton going there either. So let's throw that. Sam Darnold makes sense there. I can see that kind of happening. And we got the Jets coming up next. So
yeah, I think it could be. I think they could start over and really go with a young guy to build up. I think they tried to keep going what Tom Brady had going and just move Cam Newton in there. But I think they need to truly start over and bring in a new young guy and develop him and make him the guy. Who that is, I don't know. I don't know if it's Stidham either.
No,
so
he's not good enough.
Could be a draft, could be getting someone else. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there right now. So the Jets, we kind of hit on. We had them both struggling. 3-13, 4-12. They finished 2-14. Rumor is about the Jets being interested in Deshaun Watson. Maybe using their top, or I think it's number 2 pick on one of the flurry of quarterbacks that are out there. But I think it needs to be said. I don't know if it doesn't seem like Sam Darnold is the guy. It seems like they're willing to move on now. I know we talked about that plenty of times at the beginning of the season. I can remember that saying, is Sam Darnold the guy or is it time to move on? And I think maybe they may be moving on, Joe.
Well, he's a good quarterback, but he's got no weapons really. We said that all the time. The weapons are very they're just not there. I will say Denzel Mims is going to be okay. He's not going to be a superstar, but he's going to be like a decent wide receiver. Maybe you just hate yourself right now because if you're a Jets fan, you could have lost your games and had Lawrence. Let's be honest. Like, I see that on social media all the time, right? Look at great job, Jaguars, because they're going to do it. But, Urban Meyer is going to have the fruits of that labor, right? So, but no, I think that's it for the AFC East. I think we can move on, Derek, because the East isn't that appealing except for the very top.
Yeah, so we'll go on to the AFC South here. Texans, they were a little disappointing. So I had the Texans at 8-8. You had them at 10-6. They finished 4-12. Where do you think it went wrong with the Texans, Joe?
Well, Watson's been crying out a lot about not having weapons. I mean, the guys are hurt. Fuller's been hurt a lot throughout the year. I don't think their defense was that good. I know J.J. Watt's a superstar. He probably deserves to be in a better team. Man, I'd love to see him go to Miami. That would be interesting. But no, Houston, they're just not a good football team. They're just O'Brien was bad, and now I don't know. They're just like the Super Bowl, Derek. Underwhelming.
Well, it started, I guess, when they traded away Hopkins, and
Yeah, it didn't help matters.
they didn't really replace him with anybody. So,
No.
well, they brought in an old David Johnson to play running back.
That's
He
right.
didn't stay healthy a lot of the time, and that wasn't in that. Obviously, Watson doesn't like the direction that they're going, so he said he wants to ship out. Well, that's probably will be in the next few weeks. You would think that he'll find a new home.
3-9 in the conference.
Probably have to start over. So
3-9 in the conference, by the way.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Nope, won't do it.
No.
The Colts. Were a little bit of a surprise. I had them at 7-9. You had 9-7. They finished 11-5. I can say great defense, Joe, and I guess Phillip Rivers was a little better than either of us thought that he was going to be.
Yeah, he had help though. Jonathan Taylor's a great running back. He's going to be a great running back. The rookie out of Wisconsin. I'm sure we both have seen him numerous times on highlight reels in college. Nyheim Hines is a pretty good back, but they don't scare me with the weapons. They don't scare me with Michael Pittman Jr. and Mo Alley Cox, and they're decent pieces, but they don't have anybody that's scary. Is this where we bring up CW, or are we going to wait?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Well,
they don't have a quarterback right now. So,
I mean, he makes sense in Indianapolis. We're talking about Carson Wentz. I told my father earlier, if my brother hears this news and it's actually happening that this trade goes through, I'm not answering my phone for at least 24 hours. Might be a big Carson Wentz fan. He's going to be dealt. Indianapolis is the place that makes sense. I read today that it could be for their middle linebacker. That will be interesting. A high pick, apparently, somewhere along the line. But they got to do it. And there'll be another team I want to throw out there later on. But listen, the Colts defense is what they're going to hang their hat on, no pun intended. And they just were better than what we all thought they were going to be, right, this year?
Yeah. Well, now I think Wentz is – it seems to be between the Colts and the Bears is what I've seen.
With neither team.
If they don't get Wentz, I don't know. Do they draft someone? I think they're a little too further on. I feel like they need to go after a quarterback in free agency or whatnot, and they need to draft some skill guys. Is what they need to do. They have good offensive line, good running back, good defense. I think they need some skill guys, and wherever the quarterback comes from, that's tough up in the air. Do they stick with someone like Jacoby Brissett, who was a good backup and played well? I think it was 2 years ago when he was the starter, but yeah, it's so kind of up in the air with Colts as to where they go. Jaguars, I had them at 4-12. You had 7-9, Joe. 1-15 they finished.
I did not do good there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the what is he called? Minshew. Well, I forget what they call him. No, I meant like a nickname that they call him. I forget, but
Minshew Mania. I don't know.
Yeah, well, he just I guess wasn't. I mean, I know he was injured a lot this year, so but they took a big step back. James Robinson looks like a very good running back, so maybe combine him with they have the first overall pick, new coach. Things could look up a little bit for the Jaguars next year, I would say, right?
Pretty sure Urban Meyer's not winning one game next year. I got news for you. I don't like the man, but he's a good coach.
Yeah.
Right. I think that if they get Lawrence, look for Minshew to be on the trading block. Right.
Yeah, I would say
that would make sense.
Yeah.
He could be a fit in Indianapolis as well as anywhere else, to be honest.
Yeah. Maybe.
No, Jacksonville is not even worth it. 1-11 in the conference, Derek. You can't win one game all year. They played for Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer probably wanted Lawrence trade away. You know what? Show me you can coach in the NFL, and I'll respect you. But nobody has been
Yeah.
able to from college. So it's the blunt day for me, Derek. Today, being blunt.
Oh, that's all right. Um, so the Titans, we were kind of on track with. I had 10-6. Joe had 13-3. I remember you having to explain yourself why you said 13-3, but they did finish 11-5.
Wasn't bad.
Good season for the Titans. Couldn't quite get over the hump, but another great season. I know you can always talk about Derrick Henry, right?
I was actually going to say two words, and it was going to be Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
Hey,
there you go.
Ryan Tannehill really impressed me, though. He could throw the ball around, and he had AJ Brown, and there's a couple really good receivers they had. Jonu Smith. Jonu Smith came out of nowhere, I thought. But they should be in the thick of things next year. And if Henry stays healthy, that guy's ridiculous. He's so good.
I would say they have the path to be the team of the division, right? Because the Colts may take a step back with not having a quarterback. The Jags are up and coming, but still a ways off. The Texans are going backwards. So it's really the Titans division for the foreseeable future, at least. That'll bring us to the AFC North. I noticed we haven't gotten one perfect on yet, Joe. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
But Ravens, I had 11-5. You had 14-2. They were 11-5. Oh, there's the first one. I had 11-5.
There it is.
But not quite the 14-2. I guess we kind of saw a little bit of a step back for Lamar Jackson this season, Joe.
Derek, I got a spoiler for you, and I'm gonna just say it right now. I'm not picking him to win the MVP next year. All right, just throwing it out there.
That's right. That's right. You did pick that. Yes,
I picked him to win the MVP. I really like his talent, but I don't know if their defense was as good as it's been. Their offense was pretty good. They still got Andrews, and they got Snead, and Miles Boykin stepped up at times. But with the Browns and Steelers in your division, you got to win a lot of football games, and they came up a little short against Buffalo in the end.
Yeah, and now you said, I mean, their defense is finally coming back to play again. I don't know. I honestly don't know what the answer is because Buffalo really seemed to play Lamar Jackson how you would expect most teams to play Lamar Jackson. Don't let him run it and spy him, and don't let him or make him pass the ball. And he couldn't really do it. So you wonder if teams start to go off of that philosophy. I can't imagine they haven't tried it so far, but I wonder if, I don't know, maybe people start figure out Lamar Jackson. But so the Bengals, we actually both had 6-10. You can never figure out a tie. If any of us either of us ever get a tie correct, then more power to us.
All right.
But yeah, 4-11-1. The Bengals finished. We both said 6-10. We were kind of on the right track. Not quite there yet. You would say, right, Joe? But a future is bright with Joe Burrow, of course. Unfortunately, we had a pretty nasty knee injury. Got knocked out before the season ended.
Joe Burrow and one more receiver because they have some good weapons there.
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd. They have AJ Green, who was a little underwhelming this year.
Yeah, he might be gone.
He was okay. T. Higgins is someone to watch out for. Yep. I love these Clemson guys. I really like him a lot. Their defense will be okay. I'll probably have them at like 5 wins instead of 4 or 6. Maybe I'll go in the middle for them, but they'll be interested in come our prediction show in a couple months.
Yeah. Joe Mixon didn't really stay healthy either, so there was a lot. They have some skill guys there, but I think they need a defense. They need some offensive linemen. So, the Browns, believe it or not, Joe, we were not ambitious enough with the Browns. I thought I was being a little ambitious at 8-8. You even went 9-7. They finished 11-5. And even though they got knocked out in the divisional round against the Chiefs, very bright future and this is going to be a very tight division in the next few years, I would say. Big step up for the Browns, finishing 11-5.
Right. I mean, I had them at 9-7 because I thought there was a step up from where I thought they were last year. Baker Mayfield had a really good year. Nick Chubb can run the football really well. The receivers are quite talented, especially guys like Beckham and uh, forgetting his name. I see him though. Oh, Jarvis Landry.
Landry, yeah.
I love Austin Hooper at tight end. He was a good guy to get from Atlanta. I listen. I look at it here, and it said that they were 6-2, 5-3, 6-2 at home, 5-3 away. They, that's really good. That's just right there. That's 5-6 games over 500. I mean, that's what you need to do. And beating the Steelers what twice? Are you kidding me? Pittsburgh was undefeated at one time.
Yeah.
So, it's a good segue, Derek. Though Pittsburgh is our last team in the division.
Yeah, and we both were similar there with 10-6. They finished 12-4, but I feel like they were more of a 10-6 team anyways. They were very, like you said, very hot in the beginning of the season, but they kind of tapered off. They never really got the run game going.
No,
James Conner never really got going. Um, Kind of up in the air with Ben Roethlisberger as to if he's coming back. Do they move on? Great defense there. Tons of weapons. Claypool, Juju, Deontay Johnson, tons of receivers. I guess it's
yep,
up in the air what happened. We talked about it. You can't move on to Mason Rudolph, right?
no. I would even go as far as to say that this would be a landing spot for Sam Darnold because he's got the big arm and you just have to
Hmm.
integrate him into the offense. He makes sense here. Like, I don't know. I thought Wentz in Pittsburgh too. I wouldn't count that out. I don't know. We haven't heard a lot of smoke there, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't count that out either. Um, yeah, the Steelers, wow, they were on fire. Like, I mean, Derek, they were 7-1 at home. Talk about protecting the house. Heinz
Yeah.
Field was their house. Like they protected it. But yeah, and I'm happy we'll see more fans. Hopefully next season we need fans. It was cool to see the 20,000 last night. But Pittsburgh's a cool place to watch a game, like actually like with fans in the stands. So
Hmm.
I think that wraps up our AFC North though. So we have one more division to go here in the AFC,
Yep.
correct?
So that'll take us to the AFC West, as you said. We'll start. I think this went alphabetical order by the the city. So Denver Broncos where we started. This was a big difference, I remember, and you
You were
said
close.
you may not come back to bite you in the beginning, but
Yeah,
um yeah, 9-7 you had them. I had 4-12. They finished 5-11.
I thinking.
I guess the Broncos are really someone who, or another team who may be looking for another quarterback because is Drew Lock the guy? I mean, 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions,
Probably
wasn't
not.
great.
No.
Yeah, two good running backs there, Melvin Gordon, Lindsey, Jerry Judy is there, the young guy. I don't know. Are they another team that looks for a running back or a quarterback?
Do you see the kid from BYU being a fit here because of Denver? Like, I don't know. I mean, is it that
Hmm.
easy? But I'm just wondering. He knows the play in the altitude because of playing at BYU. I'm
Yeah.
talking about Zach Wilson. I mean, listen, if they start throwing it out there, Derek, I might as well get a job at ESPN. I'm getting good at this. But but
that
no, I
that's a
listen,
very
Mel.
good point.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But Melvin Gordon is a good running back. I'm pretty sure that's who he has.
Yes, yes.
Um, or who they have. I don't know. You said about Judy. I really like him.
Hmm.
They're still a ways away, but they need a quarterback. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I agree. I think that going with someone young might be a good fit. Jerry Judy, young receiver. Don't forget about Cortland Sutton, who was a very
Right.
good their top wide receiver who didn't even start the season due to injury. Noah Fant, good tight end. So they have some pieces there. I think that's something they do is maybe draft another quarterback, young guy, rather than go out and get a veteran who's out on the market. Um, Next up, as we just talked about, Kansas City Chiefs. I had 14-2. You had 13-3. They did finish 14-2. Well, we kind of hit on the Chiefs for a while, but great regular season. The best record in all of the NFL, really.
Yeah, Derek, that's your second one, by the way. 14-2. Good job.
Are we tallying?
I got the tally. You're beat me 2-0, Derek.
Okay, all right.
No. Listen, Patrick Mahomes is probably pound for pound top 3 quarterback in the game right now. I sit there and say that because Aaron Rodgers is right there. I still say Wilson and Breeze are there. Brady's there, but Brady's not. I don't think he has the talent he used to have. Well, we'll get to them in the NFC. But Mahomes, Allaire, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, the Chiefs we saw last night were not the Chiefs. Like, it was just sad to watch that game. That's the best team in football. Come on. Like, I don't care what anybody says on other games, and you said it earlier, and I don't want to get away from the season, but this was the best team all year. This should have been the best team we saw last night. We didn't see it. Ergo, what happened? But yeah, the Chiefs are going to be fine, and I don't know what else they might have to sign Hill, I want to say, but other than that, Andy Reid will be back. God hoping that his son is okay without this accident and the critical condition people are okay, because that could be really on his head, especially drinking and driving, which we don't condone here on the timeout. I don't know. I guess that's it. The Chiefs are just a really good football team, and people should be aware. Patrick Mahomes is fired up about coming back next year.
Look out for him next year. Next up is the Las Vegas Raiders. I had them at 9-7. Joe at 10-6. They finished 8-8. We talked about John Gruden coming there in the beginning of the season. He got, I think, the best out of Derek Carr. 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Great year.
Do they keep going with Derek Carr? Josh Jacobs, very good running back. Darren Waller, amazing tight end.
Yeah, great tight end.
They probably could use 1 or 2 more receiver weapons, but maybe a little bit of a disappointing season for the Raiders, but I think they'll be trending up. That's for sure.
Defense needs to improve, and I think Hunter Renfrow, Henry Ruggs, the third from Alabama, those guys have to step up and play better offensively. Other than that, you're right. Jacobs and they're a good team. Their defense has probably got to get better.
So we'll go on to the Los Angeles Chargers. I had them at 6-10. You had 5-11. They finished 7-9. We were both kind of around it. Interesting team, the Chargers. Justin Herbert, the rookie, played amazing. One offensive rookie of the year, 31 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, over 4,300 yards. Austin Eckler is a good running back they have there. Obviously, Keenan Allen, the guy who's been there for a long time. Great quarterback and quarterback play, but I don't know. With the Raiders there and the Chiefs there, is not a ton of room for them to just shoot up. They would have to gradually move up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not going to prove that really. I'm not going to lie. I don't know much about the Chargers. I do know Herbert's really good though, and he needs more weapons. They have some guys there. I think Anthony Lynn's the head coach, or is he not there anymore?
No, he's not. I don't know off the top of my head.
So they're going to have a new coach, right? And I'm sure a lot of their fans wanted Urban Meyer, which that did not take long to figure out he wasn't going there. Yeah, I don't, I just think they're just not really a good football team, but Herbert's probably going to make them better in the next couple of years, I would think.
Yeah. So that'll move us on to the NFC here. And while I can already tell you, Joe, that I'll have to say something about the Dallas Cowboys. I had them at 11-5, and you had 9-7.
3, Derek. That's 3.
Ultimate. No, I had 11-5.
Oh, you had more wins.
They were 6-10.
Derek.
Yeah, it was really Dak. I had Dak, I believe, as the MVP. I had them really just going off the rails. and yeah, unfortunately he got hurt, I think, in like the fourth game. So
Yeah, he
I
did.
don't blame myself too much for that. I went for it, and I think based on how the division finished, I definitely think they could have won it had he stayed healthy. But
Runaway.
yeah, yeah. Oh well, if they bring Dak back again, I think that they could legitimately make a nice run. Always got to shore up that defense though in Dallas.
Yeah, Jalen Smith from Notre Dame. What's his name? The big guy. He's a linebacker.
Van Der Esch.
Thank you, Van Der
Yeah.
Esch. Like those guys are good, but you're right. They need something else there. And then I think too, like the corners or safeties, one of them needs to probably go. They got weapons, oh man. CD Lamb so fast. They have guys like Amari Cooper and
Cooper.
guys, Michael Gallup, who stepped up a lot. Cedric Wilson, I think, was even there this year again.
Blake
But I just
Jarwin, another one who
Darwin,
went out way early, who was supposed to make a big step up, but
I just don't think Dallas is. And why don't they run the ball more? They have one of the best running backs in the whole league, and
yeah, that's a good question.
he doesn't get the ball a lot. So
Yeah,
also they were only 4-4 at home. You can't really beat your rivals, and you're playing them twice a year. So 4-4 at home is not really where we want to be, Derek.
yeah.
But
Well, so that'll bring us to the Philadelphia Eagles. I had them at 8-8. You had 10-6,
not
and they
close.
went with a lowly 4-11-1 record.
So many issues we got.
Yeah,
So many issues.
I guess we could. The defense was not. Well, I mean, wasn't too bad in comparison. Um, I guess to most of the NFL, but they couldn't.
Field a lot.
Yeah, you couldn't
No.
figure out Wentz, who seems to be gone. Is Hurts the guy moving forward,
We're gonna
Joe?
find out. We're gonna find out.
I assume that was talked about with the new head coach, who again is not off the top of my head, but
Sirianni.
yeah, whether or
Yeah.
not he wants to move forward with Hertz or if he wants to draft one. Um, I don't know. They just didn't run the ball nearly enough. You hear that from all the Eagles fans.
Miles
Miles
Sanders,
Sanders did
yeah.
pretty well this year, but
Yeah.
didn't. Um, but Wentz 16 and 15 in terms of interceptions or touchdowns, interceptions. Got a glimpse from Jalen Hurts.
Too
What did
early.
you get? Too early to tell, probably. You're right. Um, the future is up in the air for the Eagles. I think we can agree on that.
1-7 on the road does not win you football games, by the way. 1-7 on the road, Derek.
And they were the worst in the division at 2-4. So you know, in the East you have to win most of the games in the division in order to play well. So
Terrible season for Philly.
So that'll give us the Giants. We were right in the middle there. I had 5-11. You had 7-9. They ended up 6-10. The defense was very good for the Giants, right? But I guess when Saquon Barkley gets hurt in whatever it was the first few games of the season, you couldn't have expected much. But they almost made the playoffs. So
I like Wayne Gallman. He really showed me something.
yes,
He had some really good games. Slayton and Golden Tate, they played pretty well. I just wanted to see if Daniel Jones. I know we've talked a lot about quarterbacks. I don't know. He's okay. He's average. Can he take the
Yeah.
next step? Right. We thought Eli was average until he got to the postseason. So let's see. Can Daniel Jones? I'm not giving up on the kid, but we gotta see if he's the real deal. So I guess we're gonna find out in the next couple of years.
Mhm.
But no, the Giants are just a below average football team that almost got in the playoffs in a bad division.
And then the Washington football team, they
I was so
finished
close,
7-9. We were close.
was
You
so
had
close.
6-10. I had 5-11. I mean, I wouldn't say the class of the division, but every team was 7-9 or worse. And the defense was very good. I can tell you that. And a great story of Alex Smith
Oh my
coming
God,
back and
that
winning
story.
comeback
Oh
player of
my
the year.
God, brings tears to your eyes when you see how much that guy's gone through, how many knee surgeries he's been through, what
Yeah.
his wife and kids are through. And if I remember right, I think he has 2 girls. So just like the emotional toll that takes on a family, I just can't imagine. Great story. Talk about a role model, a guy that seems like he plays for the love of the game. Um, yeah, nice to see him in the playoffs, and it had to come to an end against the eventual champs. But
Yeah.
um, I
They were
like
in that
Barber.
game though.
Yeah, they were. They played well that Thursday night game. I remember,
Uh-huh.
or it might have been a Saturday night even. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday.
Um, but yeah, anyway, I just think that they have some weapons, but they don't have enough of them.
Yeah.
Their tight end's pretty interesting. I like him a little. Logan Miller. Um, Logan Miller. Did I get that
Logan
right?
Thomas. Yeah.
Logan
Yeah,
Thomas. That's
he was
not even
good.
close. Logan something. But anyway, the East not so good, Derek. Hopefully they'll come back better next year.
Yep. We'll see where that's another place that might have we'll see if Alex Smith comes back. I would probably say he might not. So maybe look for Tyler Heineke, who played very well
Yes,
in
he did look
the
good.
playoff game. So maybe they'll move
Yeah.
on with him. Maybe they'll draft. We'll have to see. That'll take us to the NFC South, where we see our Super Bowl champion,
Yeah, we're there.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, we were
They
close.
didn't win the division. We were right about that. Neither one of us had it. I had 10. We both had 10-6, 11-5. They were. Hey, so we're not very
We're
off,
not too
Joe.
bad,
We're
Derek.
pretty one
Yeah,
or two games off
we can
everywhere.
credit
So
each other. You're beating
yes,
me
yes.
though.
But well, we don't really need to talk about the Buccaneers. I think we said what needs to be said.
Champs,
They're
Tom Brady.
champions. Moving on.
Yep.
Won, I believe it was I don't know, like 7 games in a row to win the Super Bowl. So
Unbelievable. They got hot at the
we'll
right time,
just
Derek.
yeah, we'll move on to the to the Atlanta Falcons, who I guess we were a little more positive on.
Yeah, by a lot.
8-8. You had 9-7. They were 4-12. We didn't get that one right. That's for sure, Joe. Where'd that one go wrong? Do you think?
Well, let's start with Matt Ryan. He didn't look like Matt Ryan, right? I mean,
No.
you get Todd Gurley. At least think you're going to use him a little better. I don't like the coaching staff there, or didn't like the coaching staff. I'm not sure I like the owner. I don't know. The Falcons are a mess, Derek. They're kind of like the Eagles. They're just like all over the place. I don't know much about the defense. Julio Jones is aged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing for the Falcons. They're in trouble, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they just couldn't really run the ball too well. They brought in Todd Gurley thinking he was going to be,
The
the
savior.
guy, but
Yeah.
he was way too injured. I think it may be towards the end for him. And Julio didn't stay healthy either. Only played 9 games. Calvin Ridley might be the number one there now. He had over almost 1,400 yards. So
He'll be good
um,
too. Ridley's a good
yeah,
player.
be interested. Do they continue with Matt Ryan? What do they do? They're kind of a team that's kind of up in the air. A 4-win season is not good. When
No.
you're in, you have Matt Ryan, who's probably a little bit past his prime, but so same thing with Julio. So tough decisions
Yeah,
for
tough
them.
one. Yeah. Got one,
Here we
Derek.
go, Joe. There's
Got
one.
one.
6-10 I had for the Panthers. You had 5-11, and they finished 5-11. Um, Bridgewater doesn't seem like he's going to be the guy of the future there. McCaffrey didn't get a lot of play, so I guess it kind of ended up how we thought, right?
Yeah, going forward, they're going to have to find their quarterback in some form. They're going to really have to be the team that really like kind of leans on McCaffrey, I should say.
Yeah.
Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, though, those 3 could be a really good triumvirate, a trio, if you will. And just, the defense has got to get better. I didn't like their defense this year. So that's, you got to play defense in the NFL, Derek.
That's for sure. And then
we
the
were
New
close.
Orleans Saints we were right in the middle. I had 11-5, you had 13-3, they were 12-4. A very odd season, I would say. Drew Brees didn't play. I think he missed about 4 games, and Taysom Hill came in. That's up in the air. It's kind of thought that Drew Brees it may be done and will retire. Do they go with Taysom Hill? Do they go with Jameis Winston? Do they go out and get somebody? Do they draft somebody? I think it's got to be somebody with some experience, right? Because you have Kamara there, you have a solid defense. Michael Thomas wasn't healthy throughout the whole year, but Emmanuel Sanders, there's a lot of pieces there. So you'll see them again shooting for another Super Bowl run, I'm sure.
Rodgers, if Brees retires. If Brees retires, that opens the door for Aaron Rodgers. He gets weapons. He has. That's my prediction. I'm going to say it right now. Huh. Aaron Rodgers, a New Orleans Saint, and you'll still root for him because you like him. So,
well, I don't know. I
hope he doesn't leave Green Bay.
We'll see.
Yeah, I hope he does. Yeah.
So that'll move us on to the north. Oh, so there's another one, Joe. You were right on with the Chicago Bears. You had 8-8. I had 5-11. They finished 8-8. They started off very hot, if I recall, maybe like 5-0, and then they really tapered off. One of the teams who were supposedly involved for Carson Wentz, but Mitch Trubisky is there now. Bringing in Carson Wentz. Is that really
Nick Foles fit in? What are we doing, Nick Foles?
I don't know.
I mean,
the rumor is that what I've heard is Carson Wentz will go to Chicago for a first-round pick.
Tariq
Nick
Cohen.
Foles and Tariq Cohen.
If you bring Nick
Foles, think is way too much.
If you bring Nick Foles back to Philadelphia and you got Jalen Hurts there now, all there's going to be is Philly fans going nuts because Nick Foles is back. I mean, I'll tell you something though. My brother just called me and left me a voicemail. I wonder if something's going on because I don't know why would it call. He knew the show was happening. It's either Eagles news or Phillies news. I'm going to say so. We'll see, but I'll text you. Anyway, that's I did say Chicago makes sense because Trubisky's not a very good quarterback. Mm-hmm. He hasn't done anything right. Carson needs we said it with the Colts thing. He needs a new change of scenery just for himself. And I think Chicago makes sense. I just don't know if he deals with played in North Dakota. I guess he couldn't have been nice there all the time, or South Dakota, whatever the Dakota was.
North Dakota, yeah.
Thank you. It was North Dakota. So I don't know. I mean, listen, you just don't know the best offer. If they give him a middle linebacker in Indianapolis, does that trump the pick? And Howie Roseman isn't the greatest general manager, as we know. I mean, he's not drafted DK Metcalf and the like. So, I don't know. The Bears are just an okay team, but they're talented, though. That's the thing. They're talented.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see. I truly think it's the Packers division for the foreseeable future.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, I know this was my sleeper pick. That didn't end up turning out too well. I had the Detroit Lions going 9-7. You had 4-12. They finished 5-11. And they traded away Matthew Stafford. Yep, he went on to the LA Rams. So the Lions will truly be the bottom dwellers moving. And now I would imagine they're drafting someone. They don't have anyone there. And no reason to go out and get a established veteran. So they'll probably go out and get someone. DeAndre Swift was a good running back. Hawkinson, good tight end.
Yeah.
Holiday or Galladay. But not a lot there. So they'll be the bottom dwellers, I would say.
Yep.
Your Packers, Derek. I was a little low on them. I had 10-6. You had 12-4. They finished 13-3. I was not keen on them not getting another receiver, and turns out it was okay. MVP season for Aaron Rodgers, but couldn't quite get past the Tom Brady Buccaneers in the end.
Yeah, listen, Aaron Rodgers, we say it all the time. He's got weapons. He just doesn't have enough really good weapons. And I think Devontae Adams needs help, and I think they get him the help this year. And I think you're looking at a new and improved Packers team next season. And, they had a good year, but like you said, it was frustrating because they could have won games they should have won. Like, they could have won instead of, maybe you could have been one loss and had the bye and didn't have to face Tom Brady. Um, I do like their coach, and I just hope that Rodgers gives it a chance. But I still want to say that the Saints are a possibility.
Yeah, well, I don't think they'll let him go. They'll do what
No,
they
they
can, and
won't.
I
He's
truly
their
think
guy.
that they finally make some moves here,
Yeah.
to give him some options besides Devonte Adams to throw
Go all
to.
in, Derek, right? Go
Yep,
all in.
that's what they should do. Because another team that finished a little lower than we thought, 9-7 for the Vikings. You had 10-6.
They're
They
7
finished
and
7-9. Dalvin Cook was amazing, but that was about it.
Justin Jefferson's really good. I just think again he's a rookie,
Yes.
so they can double team him, but he did have his catches and his touchdowns. Yeah, I think they need a complimentary receiver. They lost Thielen to injuries this year. Their tight end or Smith Jr. is okay. They just don't have anybody that wows you. They're like that team of like it's like looking at a painting and the painting is just it's okay. It's not a Picasso though. They're not Picasso, Derek.
Gave up the second most. Art, by the way, they gave up the second most points compared to the Lions in the NFC, and it looks like about third most in the entire NFL. So, I think they need to work on the defense. Kirk Cousins actually wasn't too bad this year.
No, he wasn't. He's overpaid though, Derek.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where they go. So that'll move us onto the West here. I remember picking all the 9-7s because I thought they were all pretty even, and they were ish.
Niners let us down.
The Niners just happened to have a lot of injuries. 9-7, you had 11-5, 6-10 is what they finished. Yeah, a lot of injuries there. They didn't have a quarterback, and with that strong of a division, that's probably why the Niners fell so far.
Yeah, George Kittle was hurt a lot. Their starting running back was hurt a lot, and you got to run the ball, and then their quarterback, what's his name, Garoppolo, he was hurt a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know. It wasn't what the Niners expected to be, and they have a tough division with the Cardinals and the Rams and the Seahawks. So San Francisco will be back. They'll be fine.
The Cardinals, I remember asking you about Kyler Murray, but in just comparison to the rest of them, we weren't too sure.
Yeah.
I had 9-7. You had 6-10. They finished 8-8. Couldn't quite make it into the playoffs. They were tied with the Bears, but didn't have the tiebreaker. I think getting DeAndre Hopkins really helped them. Maybe they need another receiver opposite Hopkins to help out Murray moving forward.
Well, I think that, and if you look at them along the lines, they were the epitome of 500, 4-4 home, 4-4 away, 6-6 conference. So like they were epitome 500 team, and I do love Kyler Murray, that great play, the game with Hopkins, the Hail Murray they're calling it, right? And just that like Kenyon Drake ran the ball pretty well for Arizona. So like I don't know, I did watch a lot of Cardinals games this year and made a lot of plays. They made a lot of plays, and the defense probably needs to improve somewhat.
Now the Los Angeles Rams, I had 9-7. You had 7-9. They went 10-6. I mean, Jared Goff is obviously gone. He's in Detroit now. I think we failed to mention that, so that's probably where they'll go forward with a quarterback. But Stafford is in LA now, and people are saying that moves them up to a potential, especially with the top defense, a potential Super Bowl contender.
Stafford can throw. I just wonder how the receivers are going to be. Cooper Kupp's not number one. Reynolds is okay, and Robert Woods is in the number one. You need a top guy there. If you get a guy like Hopkins, somehow somebody like that, man, whew, or you trade for Jefferson, even just do something like that, like that becomes a big problem. But I don't see them Super Bowl. I see them still hovering around playoffs and like getting in and see what they can do. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team. We'll see.
And then lastly, that'll bring us to the Seattle Seahawks. And you had 12-4. That's where they finished, 12-4, and I had 11-5. We both had them winning the division. Um, the Seahawks, they couldn't quite do it. They played a bad game in the playoffs against the Rams. I talked about Wilson being unleashed. Maybe that wasn't a complete great option. They Metcalf played well, Lockett, but it was really the defense. They couldn't really stop too many people, and that ended up hurting them.
Yeah, Seattle was really kind of either Russell Wilson, Metcalf, and Carson. Like those are the three guys you think about with Seattle. The defense had to stop people. And like you said, they had a hard time with it. They got to address the defense and they got to make sure that they continue playing good offensive football. Now, Carson missed a lot of games. That was a big thing. But, Russell Wilson should be able to win you games and get into the playoffs and you'd be fine. But I don't know. They got some improvements to do. Carroll's going to probably look at the team. He's a great coach. They'll be in contention next year.
So that'll bring us to the playoffs real quick here. So let's see. I'm just gonna count up here. The Ravens did make the playoffs. The Titans made the playoffs. Steelers and the Browns, and then I had the Chiefs as the one. So I had 5 out of 7. The Patriots obviously wasn't a great call. In hindsight there, but yeah, I was thinking that they would, and then I had the Chiefs as the number 1 seed playing the Ravens, which almost happened, but and I ended up you can't see there. I'm gonna move us over. But the Chiefs and Ravens I had, and then I had the Chiefs going into the playoffs. So you had, I believe you had the Ravens number 1. So Ravens, Chiefs, Titans, Steelers, Bills. So you had 5 as well. And then your 6 and 7 didn't make it in. Ravens and Chiefs. We both had, I remember, we both had Ravens and Chiefs. Only you had the Ravens in Super Bowl.
Of course I did. My MVP.
Yes, that's right. NFC for me, I know I had the Seahawks number 1. Saints, Packers, Buccaneers, Rams. Again, I had 5. The Lions, they let me down big time. Cowboys let me down. Not really shocked there. I had Seahawks and Cowboys. Yeah, that Cowboys pick, man. I just heads up, I may pick them again next year, so we'll have to see. What did you have here, Joe?
So I had the Seahawks, the Packers,
2,
the Buccaneers.
Yeah, just the 3.
The Eagles and 29. Yes, those 3.
And then the Saints as your 1, so you had 4. Vikings, didn't quite, and the 49ers didn't quite live up to what they were supposed to be. Saints and Seahawks. And Super Bowl predictions, that didn't work out. I did have the Chiefs, so I'll give myself that. But I had the Seahawks winning it regardless, and that didn't happen.
That did not work.
And then, Joe, you had the Saints and the Ravens.
The Ravens. That's right.
But do you regret that pick at all? I wouldn't say so, because at the time...
New Orleans, I think when Breeze went down, they hurt a little bit, and then he came back and did okay, but not the same. And Baltimore, Jackson, man, he got pummeled against Buffalo. I just look at that Buffalo game and really screwed him up. So, I mean, not really. I mean, it's tough to do this. I said that in the beginning when I sat down and did the predictions. It's tough to pick these. It's really tough to go that far. It is nearly impossible, Derek. It shows us that we only got 3 right combined in the whole season of the standings.
Yeah.
But it's fun to do.
If there were sure things, we would be making a lot of money, I'm sure. So
yes, we'd be working for more companies.
But I'm pretty looking back at it now. I'm pretty happy with how we did. We were pretty close in a lot of them.
I'm not upset.
Hey, I guess we'll get started now. I don't know. Should we be doing baseball individual records? That's pretty tough. But
probably not.
I guess we'll
what
have
about
to
this
talk
one?
About it.
What about a top 5 list? We're gonna give the audience a sneak peek. What about a top 5 list on players that have hit the cycle? because that's hard to do, or no hitters or perfect
Yeah.
games. There's three things we could talk about. But Derek, it's time. I got my Philly shirt on. It's time for baseball. It's finally
Yes,
getting
and
there.
this will do it for football for the foreseeable future. We hope everyone enjoyed the Super Bowl. There will be, I'm sure, stuff that goes out on throughout the off season, including the NFL draft. We'll probably do a show on the NFL draft.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's it for football. We gave a lot of episodes. We hope everyone enjoyed all the episodes.
NFL was fun.
But
I don't know a lot about it,
we
but
are
I try
now,
to.
yeah, we're making a turn
The
now
diamond.
into
Yeah.
baseball and probably some college basketball. We're going to get going on. We are going to officially announce in the next week or so about our March Madness timeout tournament. That
Yeah.
anyone who wants to enter will be able to enter. But we'll get
Good.
started
That's
with the
awesome.
details moving forward. But Joe, the end of football season, any final thoughts?
No, it was a good season. I loved watching the playoffs. Like we said, underwhelming Super Bowl, but it's going to happen. And I'm really excited for going forward. And the draft will be fun to do. I always enjoy the draft. Uh, Brother Michael might come on for the draft, so he'll be excited for that. We'll be happy to have him back. And yeah, man, baseball. It's just exciting to know like baseball's right around the corner. The hot stove is still heating up, and I still got to check this voicemail because I'm very interested to hear what he has to say because he doesn't usually leave me voicemails, so something's going on. But yeah, there's players still out there. We'll talk about it. There's been signings over the last couple of weeks. I know we'll delve into, and it starts again on Friday though with the top 5 list probably, and then next Monday, Derek, which will be February the 15th, President's Day. Actually, we'll have a good show, and it's going to be all about 60 feet 6 inches and home plate to first base. Let's get into it.
Yep. So, well, yeah, we're not entirely sure where we're going next week, but we'll probably look out for a top
Oh,
five
that's right.
list this coming
Friday.
week. But
Yeah.
that'll do it for the NFL season. I'm
Lionel.
not sure if your team did well this year, but next year is
Yeah.
another year, and everyone has a chance next year. So that's
All
what's
starts
fun
over.
about all sports. Everyone has a chance, and every team fan base has some hope in the beginning. So,
That's
um,
right.
so that'll do it. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to spend some time with us here at Timeout. As always, please stay safe and everyone take care.